Hello, this is Greg Hawk back. I got a couple treasure stories here that I'm going to tell in the same area. And I was reading one of these lost treasure books that W.C. Jameson had written. He's written over 60 books, and a lot of them are treasure books. It's just called Lost Treasures in American History. And there's two stories there which took place around the lava fields just south of Grants, New Mexico. It's called the El Malpai National Monument. Now, the area surrounding it is some of it's reservation land, some of it's Forest Service, so you have to be careful where you go and be cognizant of that fact. The one story was in 1770 when a mule train coming down from Durango all to Mexico City carrying Spanish silver. The Spanish soldiers were leading this mule train along. There were supposedly 14 burro loads of silver, and each mule was carrying 300 pounds of silver. Today's value, you're looking probably $1 million worth of silver in today's money. This mule train was coming through the lava fields, and in his story, it talks about winding through the lava field and going through the narrows, and he capitalized the word narrows. They got through the narrows and they settled down for the evening. They unpacked all their mules and then went back under kind of a cliff there where it was shady, turned the mules out to graze. They had water there. And all once they noticed that the Indians had blocked off the retreat back up the narrows, and on the other end they were kind of surrounded, didn't have anywhere to go, and they kind of stared each other down. Well, wasn't long before the shots were fired, arrows were flew, and then they hid back underneath the rocks. And the captain of the unit there, he had some Spanish soldiers with him, plus all the mule tenders, decided they better bury this treasure, all this silver, in front of where they were camped out under this cave the best they could. And he was going to scribe a little serpent with his sword on the top of that cave entrance there, which signifies treasure in Spanish, and decided had to fight their way out. So the next day they tried to take off and fight their way out. Well, the Indians overwhelmed them and massacred all of them, took all the mules, all their horses, and disappeared. That's the way the story goes. Jameson does a real good job of taking a thread of truth and embellish upon it and making a really good read out of it, you know, and how they wound through the lava fields, this, that, and the other. So that's one story where I think possibly there's still some buried bars of silver there somewhere. All right, the other story, Blackjack Kristen robbed a train up around Grants, New Mexico. Okay, that was on like November the 6th, and 1897. They blew open the safe, and there was $100,000 worth of gold and silver coin, and they robbed all the passengers of their jewel, put it in a canvas bag, took off south down towards the Narrows. And they rode all night and kind of camped back in some rocks. The next morning they kind of got figuring about how they're going to split this up. They've been drinking, got in a bottle of whiskey. They got in an argument. One outlaw shot the other, which left one outlaw and Blackjack Kristen to split it up. But they decided they better hurry up and bury the treasure because he had went back and looked down at the trail and he saw the posse go by within 100 yards. So they think, they better be quiet. Then they snuck out of there after they buried the treasure. They took the body of the one dead outlaw, threw it on top of the treasure and covered it all up and took off riding hard for about a day and then split up. One went north, one went south, and they agreed at 30 days to meet in Silver City and come back after the treasure. As time went on, within a week or so, the one that went north, he was in another robbery. They caught him, threw him in prison where he died. He never told anything about the treasure. Blackjack Kristen went down towards Silver City, got caught up in another robbery and got shot. And he died 2 days later, and he kind of confessed to the sheriff that he was part of that train robbery and kind of give the sheriff's general directions where he might have buried it. Well, the sheriff went to look and never did find anything. So supposedly there's $100,000 worth of gold and silver coin buried somewhere between Grants and down towards the Narrows. I'm going to take you several places down through there and show you some of the area and talk a little bit about it. We're going to look at the map here. I want to show you a few places we're going to go. The first stop is going to be at the Visitor Center where you can pick up this map. And on the back of the map is a really good picture showing all the animals out in the lava fields. It's very pretty, so it's well worth stopping and getting one of these. It's got good geologic information inside there, displays, and a lot of history. So it's a good stop to start this whole journey. After the visitor center, let's go on down the road, and we're going to stop down here at the Sandstone Bluffs Overlook. Okay, it's a beautiful overlook. It's about a half mile or so back on the gravel road. If you look down at the base, there's a trail that follows the base of these cliffs on around. Could the outlaws have taken this trail? Or maybe the Spanish? After the bluffs, we're going to stop at the Zuni-Acoma trailhead, and I'm going to take you out into the lava fields a little ways. We're at the Acoma-Zuni Trail, which goes across the lava fields here. We're going to walk back in a mile or so just to give you an idea of what these lava fields really look like. So we got to stay on the trail, follow the carom as we go back here. And we're just now starting to get to the edge of the real lava flow. Probably this was the most recent one, about 3,900 years ago. And you see the cairns are starting to stack up on black rock, so we're going to have to really watch it going through here. As you see, it's starting to get a little bit of rough up here. You have to be careful you don't fall on this stuff because it's very abrasive. The basalt, that's what it's called, is very hard lava rock. This type of lava flow out here is called a Peihoho, which is a Hawaiian name for it, and this is called ropey lava, which is part of it. Okay, right across the road from the trailhead, sandstone cliffs. At about a quarter of a mile down the road is a well. It looks like a spring down that way. So there's water here, and they run cattle out in here. Our last stop on this side for looking for treasure will be down at the Narrows, which is mentioned by W.C. Jameson in his story. So that'll be your last stop on this side down here, looking for the treasure. As you see, this is a road running between the sandstone cliffs and the lava field, and you can see there's not a lot of room between them. We stopped here at the South Narrows picnic area. It's clear at the south end of the Narrows. It's where the road comes by the rock kind of on one side and the lava on the other side. There's a very narrow passage between them, but they also have a trail that goes up on top of that rock formation over there, and you can look out over it. So we're going to take a little hike, and I'll give you a shot up there. Lava flowing right next to it. If you notice on down the way, then the lava flow finally stops. This is possibly one of the places where the Spanish might have been held up. After they come out of the Narrows, they had a place to graze here. The possibility maybe they found some water and knew a small cistern or something back on the rocks. So this is a possibility of where they got attacked. Okay, if you do come over and you want to camp out, there's Joe's Skiing Campground, which has 10 campsites. It doesn't cost anything. It's pretty popular. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, most of these places are taken up. And on down the way is also La Ventana Natural Arch. There, and have a look at it. This is La Ventana Arch behind me. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. If you come up here first thing in the morning at sunrise, it's really pretty when the sun shines down through that arch. You get some really nice photos. So you get a chance to stop off here for a minute. It's only about a quarter-mile hike up from where you park. So it's worth the hike if you happen to be up early in the morning, get some beautiful shots. Okay, after we finish the east side, we're going to go over to the west side. And our first stop is just a quick look at the Zuni-Acoma trailhead on the other side of the lava fields. This is a trailhead. They have a little footpath starting off, and you come up here to a little walk bridge going across some of this lava field, and as you can see, it's pretty rough just starting off out through here. Then we're going to travel on around. We're going to go over to the ice caves and the Bandera crater. And this is on private property. I think you pay $12. You can walk around, you can go down in the ice cave, which is buried underneath the lava field, and there's ice year-round, and walk around to the Bandera crater. This is a turn off of the highway to get back to the ice cave and Bandera crater. As you go back, you come to the little cabin, which is their shop. You go in and sign in. If you look around, they have some cabins you can rent in the summertime. And all you do is walk around, follow the trail and the markers, and get you back to the ice cave. Underneath all the volcanics down to the cave where ice stays year-round. As you can see, it's pretty deep down into the volcanics. It's pretty thick in this area. On the other side, you walk around, you get the Bandera crater. So it's really worth the time to come up here and have a walkabout. All right, after we've seen all those things, we're going to go to town and out on old Route 66, which runs through Grants. And I'm going to take you out to the Junkyard Brewery, which is kind of a neat little place I found. They have pretty good beer on tap there they make right there at the place. As you walk in the front door, they got the front of this old Chevy truck sitting there, part of a serving thing, but you got tailgates for tables. This is a room off the side of the bar. And you notice the tops of the table are hoods off cars. This is really a trip. If you stop in here, have a rack and pinion beer. It's made with pinion nuts, and it's really got a good flavor to it. You know, you can go to my website, www.desertroamerpress.com, and I'll do a write-up about what I find out here, so you can see it on my blog. So, good hunting, and we'll catch you on the next one.